Spoiler Piece Theater, the podcast that doesn't give a shit about spoilers. We just want to talk about the movies. My name is Evan Crean. My pronouns are he, him. I'm co-chair of the Boston Online Film Critics Association, co-author of your 80s Movie Guide to Better Living, and co-host of the It's the Pictures podcast.
I'm Dave Riedel. My pronouns are he, him. I am a member of the Boston Online Film Critics Association, and I am a movie yapper.
Movie yapper. I like it.
Movie yapper. That's it. I came up with that one off the top of my head.
Nice.
Fucking talent over in this room.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so welcome to this week's episode. We are going to talk about one movie, but before we get to that movie, I'll mention that over on our Patreon this week, our Patreon exclusive audio, we are talking about the 1986 buddy cop movie Running Scared. We just had a really fun conversation about that. So if you're a patron, check that out. If you're not, consider joining for $5 a month. You get weekly bonus episodes like that one. You also get access to our back catalog, which is hundreds of bonus episodes on top of the 600 plus episodes of the main show. So you got tons of spoiler piece to listen to. And we do monthly polls, and Dave and I are going to have one up next week. So look out for that.
We've already chosen the 5 for you to choose from. It's hot shit.
Yep. Get ready for it, patrons. While I'm at it, I'll say thank you to our sponsor piece patron, Heather Sachs. Heather, thank you for your support.
Thank you, Heather, so much.
Now, onward to this week's movie. We're going to be talking about the Netflix film War Machine, which came out recently. It's written and directed by Patrick Hughes and co-written by James Beaufort. And it stars Alan Ritchson of Reacher fame. It's got Stephen James, Blake Richardson, Dennis Quaid, good old Jai Courtney, and
Isai Morales.
Yeah, Isai Morales, and I don't think I know the other people in this.
And a bunch of people that I don't recognize.
Yeah, but we'll do our one sentence IMDb, and then we'll jump in a little further. So this isn't even proper grammar. Follow the final recruits of a grueling special ops boot camp who encounter a mysterious deadly force. All right, I'm just going to immediately toss that description out.
That is bad.
Yeah. This is about a guy who was in the army in Afghanistan, and him and his brother wanted to become Army Rangers, and his brother and everyone else around them are killed in an ambush. And so he decides, I'm going to go become a fucking Army Ranger, like hell or high water, by hook or by crook. I am going to keep going out for it, even though I have a fucked up leg from this getting shrapnel in it in this attack. And so this is like his last hurrah trying to get into this program.
Yeah, he's going to age out.
He's going to age out.
Do it again. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so he's like, I've got to fucking do this. And he's like keeping to himself. He doesn't want to be a leader. He just wants to get in and get the job done. And we're watching him over the course of, many rounds of elimination, like working his way through, getting to the next round, fewer and fewer guys, everyone else is washing out of it. And it gets to the point where Dennis Quaid, who's like the commanding officer, is like, look, buddy, like you're a fucking wreck. Like, you lost your brother. You never went to any therapy or anything. You're a fucking mess. Like, you should quit because you pass up any opportunities to be a leader. You should just quit. Here's a paper you should sign because you can't fucking hack it, basically. Or you have the potential, but you're not showing me that you can do the job. So he's like, fuck that. I'm not going to quit. So they go in this G.I. Jane style training exercise. It's supposed to be let's put ourselves in a quote unquote real world combat situation where they have guns that don't fire anything, and they're supposed to recover a downed pilot who's been kidnapped by enemy forces, and they've got to be stealthy, and they've got 30 hours or something like that to get the job done.
Yeah, it's something. It's 24, it's 30, it's 36, it's something.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly. So they're dropped in the woods, and they make their way to the target site, and they're like, I don't know, this is kind of weird. We're a few hundred yards off where we should be, and there's a downed aircraft, and they go to blow it up like they're supposed to, and surprise, it's aliens. It's a fucking mech robot alien thing that starts chasing them. And the rest of the movie is them running away from this mech alien that just is killing all of the other people. in his group, aside from they all have numbers, by the way. These guys, Alan Ritchson, he plays 81, and Stephen James plays 7. So 7 he's injured very quickly, and he's being dragged by like a stretcher, and all the other guys are like dying to try and save this poor guy's life. And basically, he ends up the only other person that survives this. But at the same time, while everyone else is dying, Alan Ritchson figures out ways to like hurt the mech alien craft. He like drops a bunch of rocks on it with like a rocket launcher, and then he realizes that the thing is venting, and because he's a combat engineer, and there's this whole subplot about his brother like clogging up the coolant in the Humvees, that basically he realizes he needs to like flood the aliens like cooling system with boulders so it overheats and explodes. So he like lures it to like a quarry that we see earlier, Chekhov's quarry.
Chekhov's quarry. I know, it was so funny. It's like, what's that? Is that the spot? And the pilot's like, nah, that's a quarry. If you end up there, you're way off course. And I'm like, make note.
Yeah, make note of this.
Make
quarry.
note of Chekhov's quarry.
Yeah. So he lures it there. He like takes like a bulldozer and like locks it underneath like the thing that's piling the rocks, and eventually like blows it up. And because the whole thing was like he carried his brother all the way back, but like collapsed before he could make it, and his brother died. Of course,
collapsed
he's got to carry
100 yards before the perimeter. I mean,
the perimeter
crazy.
of the base. It's crazy to me that no one saw him anyway. It could get to him in time.
I know.
Yeah. So he's got to carry 7 all the way back, and he gets there. And of course, the aliens have been invading other places. So like all the guys are running there like, crazy, like, okay, do this, go here, go here, go here, go here. But like everyone's running around, like no one stops to notice him carrying this guy until eventually he's like, okay, here we go, drop the guy. And then they're like, oh, good job. You like defeated one of these things. We're going to go out. We took out the first round of them, but there's like more coming. So like, let's go, like saddle up. And he's got to give his like motivational speech because he fucking fails earlier when he's supposed to be like the commander of the group. It gives like no motivational speech. The other guy has to do it, so he's got to give his like, yeah, let's get this shit done. DFQ, don't fucking quit, which is like his tattoo that him and his brother had. And then they like, yeah, hurrah, let's go, Rangers, rah rah. The end.
Well, no, then you see him asleep on the helicopter because that's one of the things. He can't sleep.
That's right. Yeah.
He's like Jack Ryan at the end of Hunt for Red October.
He sleeps.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So yeah, that's the movie. Dave, what'd you think?
Well, while I was watching Predator with PTSD, I was thinking to myself, this movie's not very good. It does do some things. I think it makes some interesting choices.
Yep.
For some of the actors, or some of the actors make interesting. And no, the one I'm thinking about in particular, I don't think that Alan Ritchson is ever going to go down as a great thespian. I mean, he's fine. I do appreciate that they don't have him wearing lifts in his shoes like in Reacher, which I think, Reacher's supposed to be like 6'4", 6'5", and Alan Ritchson is about 6 feet tall. So, because, on Reacher, he just like is so enormous that it's actually kind of distracting sometimes.
Yeah.
And he's
a large guy in this too. Like he's beefy.
But he's not like he sticks out a little bit just because, he's a good looking guy and he's in good shape, but everybody in this movie is in good shape. So it's like, they're fucking trying to get in the Rangers. So, but one of the things that I was thinking about is a character moment when he finally has the idea at the quarry to, trap the alien ship blowing up thing, whatever it is. I don't think there's a pilot in there. I mean, maybe there is.
Unclear. It looks a lot like a Metal Gear from Metal Gear Solid.
It really does.
The first thing that I thought. I was like, oh, Metal Gear Solid. It's a Metal Gear.
Yeah. But the thing that I appreciated about it is he's in the quarry and trying to get all the equipment started, and he can't do it at first. He's like, how the fuck do you turn this on? And he finally like finds it by accident, basically. And I just appreciated that there are several human moments in the movie like that where people, the hero isn't this infallible fucking dude. There are things he doesn't know,
Right.
not in the whole, I don't know how to give a pep talk because I have PTSD and I'm always thinking about my dead brother. Not in that way. I think that's stupid. But
Yeah.
but yeah, I just couldn't shake the feeling that this is basically Predator without the sense of humor.
Right.
So
Yeah.
and I did think that some of the supporting actors were good. I liked Blake Richardson as 15. He kind of cracked me up.
Yeah.
And I also appreciated that even though he was like kind of a cut up or a screw up, he actually was a decent, soldier.
Right.
He dies in a rather unceremonious way.
Right. Yeah, he's going to like grab the ammo for the 50 cal on the truck that they were able to rescue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I'm kind of bummed out that like literally none of his team made it back alive either. I just think
that's exactly how I felt. I was so bummed about that too. I was like,
especially
really,
considering like 3 or 4 of them make it for so long,
Right. Yeah. I was like, really, the only other person that's going to survive is the guy that's like crippled, basically, like he's disabled and like not like in the like disability sense, but I mean like he's so wounded, like he can't carry himself. Like that's the guy that's going to survive, and no one else is going to make it out of this. It's just so obvious and heavy-handed.
No man left behind, I guess? ? I mean,
yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, I think that I don't know if I've seen other Patrick Hughes movies. I've never seen. Is it called The Kingsman? The one with oh God.
Oh, is that one of his?
Yeah, it's The Kingsman. Oh no, The Hitman's Bodyguard. That's who this guy is.
I've seen that one. That one's kind of fun. Expendables 3, I've definitely seen that.
I have not seen Expendables 3. Okay, I confused him with someone else. He's the Hitman's bodyguard and the Hitman's wife's bodyguard. I have not seen those. I think I saw Expendables 3, and it just everything just feels kind of listless, kind of rote. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I was talking about this after I watched it with Shauna, and she was like, I kind of feel like there's 2 movies here. And I'm like, she's like, one movie I like and one movie I hate. And I was like, yeah, that is a good description of it. Cause like the movie that I like her, is the action heavy movie. Cause I think the action set pieces themselves are actually really tense, like really fucking tense. Like there's the scene where they initially encounter this thing and they're running and they fall down this fucking mountain basically, and they're tumbling, and you feel like you feel like every bump on the way down they're just falling and like breaking themselves and like breaking bones and like rupturing body parts. And then there's a scene where they've got like they're stringing the line across the river and they're climbing across the line, and then the guy in the stretcher gets caught and he's dangling, and then they fall in the river and they go over the waterfall. And then there's a scene later where they've got like the truck that they rescue and they're driving the truck and the alien's chasing them, and the thing is fucking getting hit with their like gunfire, and it's like literally being torn to shreds while they're like driving it. All those parts I found like really thrilling and really tense. But all the stuff I hated was the stuff that you're talking about, Dave, where it's so like morose. It takes itself way too fucking seriously. It's like really heavy-handed dramatically. And like it's so annoying. Like they waste so much fucking time on this whole like intro PTSD thing with the brother. It takes forever to get to the training.
And they keep going back to it.
They keep going back to it with flashbacks. I'm like, why not just do that? Why not just cut right to the training and use the flashbacks to tell the story? Because then it takes way too long to get the fucking aliens, and then it takes way too long for them to fucking realize they're aliens. It's like over an hour into the movie, and they're like, oh, I think these might be aliens. Like, what? These are like obviously aliens.
Yeah.
Like it bothers me sometimes how dumb some of the characters are. I'm like, I think the characters are smarter than the movie is giving them credit for.
Yeah. Ugh. I don't quite share your observation that it's two. Well, I agree with you that it's two movies. But I do think of it as all kind of like one jumbled mess that maybe should have been two movies,
Right.
which I don't think is much of a distinction, but I think it is a distinction. I mean, I was not really sold on this the moment Alan Ritchson showed up in the opening flashback scene. Because first I was like, is that Jai Courtney? Do I have to watch fucking Jai Courtney? And then when Alan Ritchson shows up and it's clear that they're brothers, I'm like, nope, Jai Courtney's going to die in about 5 minutes, which he does.
Yeah, that's
but
obvious from the jump.
the thing that took me out, and you are going to be like, are you kidding me? Is Alan Ritchson's fake beard at the beginning. I was like, this is such horrible makeup I'm assuming that it falls under makeup. It's so awful. It's so clearly, it's worse than the beard that John Cryer has at the beginning of Hiding Out.
That's bad, listeners, because I've seen Hiding Out and it's bad.
Yeah, you can see the glue in that beard. The thing that's so terrible about this beard is Alan Ritchson, when he's let's just call it clean shaven. When he's got like his natural 5 o'clock shadow, his face, his beard hair is black, and he has a blonde beard in these flashbacks.
Yeah.
And it's like, who is the fucking idiot who was in charge of that department? Because this looks like shit. And so I was pretty much I wouldn't say that I was like signed out or thinking to myself like, this is no good. But I just remember thinking, if they can't get this right, and this movie clearly has some money, what the fuck? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I felt about it. I think, Alan Ritchson is fine for being stoic, which his character is.
But he doesn't get much to do. And honestly,
No.
I don't really know him as an actor to say like he could have done more. So maybe that's fine. But it's just, I don't know.
Well,
they don't give him much to do aside from just like mope.
Yeah. He's more dynamic in Reacher. But, Reacher is, there's 10 episodes a season or 12 episodes a season. So of course there's just more time to do the character, and then the character of Reacher is just so defined in those books. I've read a couple of the books since since the show has been on, and the character is just so defined that I don't want to say that it's easy to play, but there's a roadmap. You know,
there's stuff to work with.
Yeah, you're taking a character and bringing it to life from previously published material, and so there are things you can lean on for your characterization. Whereas for this, when you've just got an empty vessel, what are you going to do? Fucking fill it up with Alan Ritchson? I don't think so. So, it's just kind of bland. Like I said, I like Blake Richardson. I think Stephen James kind of turned that part, which was nothing, into something. Because he can emote, like an actor should. He's like one of those guys.
Yeah,
I've seen
when he was
in
in fucking Beale Street, and like he was great in that.
Yeah, that's the only thing that I can remember specifically seeing him in. But I know I've seen him in like a half dozen things in the last 5 years.
He's one of those guys that works a lot, but in a lot of like smaller supporting roles generally.
Yeah, roles like this, right? So.
Right, like thankless roles like this, where you're like, he's really good and he could do a lot more, but he's relegated to like the side character.
Yeah.
He's like fridged for most of the movie.
Is fridged for most of the movie. Yeah, I hadn't thought of it in those terms, but I guess that's true. And now the scope of this movie is rather large because they're blowing trees away and they're falling down mountains and they're running through the woods, and like I said, it obviously has a budget, but I just cannot get past the fact that even movies with big budgets or medium budgets use CGI blood. It drives me insane. You know, I just, I don't know what it is. I'm getting to be like an old man who's set in his ways, but like, just, bad CG blood just looks fucking awful.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, I agree.
I don't expect everything to be the exploding head from fucking Scanners, but there is a character in this movie that gets its head. I don't know if it was a man or a woman because it happens so fast. Like, I think it's like the first person to die. The mech thing like blows somebody's head off as they're running away, and it's just like, that could have been cool, but it ain't.
Right.
So
yeah, there's a weird mix of technology and design in a way that's not effective to me. One, as I mentioned, it looks like a Metal Gear Solid mech, but also looks very top heavy from a design perspective. So it's like, how is this thing so mobile, and how is somebody not able to just like knock it over easily? But then it's like this like really advanced like armor system and weaponry. It's got these like crazy grenade things, but like it amounts to being shooting what are like, it's like a rail gun. It's not actually shooting like lasers. And I'm like, we have rail guns in the army. Like we have that technology. Like, why is this thing with all of this other advanced technology basically have what amounts to like a rail gun? It doesn't have more sophisticated like weaponry in some ways. That to me was strange.
Yeah, I mean, I think the most sophisticated thing about it is that its armor is so difficult to pierce, right?
Yeah.
Because you're absolutely right. All of the weaponry it has, aside from the fact that it looks kind of cool, it all like kind of explodes the same way regular old bombs and grenades and rockets do. So it's not really impressive in that way. I hadn't thought about the top heaviness of it, but now that you say it, yeah, it's like Ed 209 in that way. From, I half expected, and its toes were like Ed 209s too. It would like spread and like grip the ground as it went, but it presumably would not have been able to climb a flight of stairs. Yeah, I don't know. What did you think of Dennis Quaid? You know how I feel about Dennis Quaid.
I know you hate him. I
did not want to kill him in this part.
Yeah, I feel like there's not much for him to do. Therefore, there's not much for him to do wrong per se. He's kind of supposed to be like a dick. He's supposed to be like one of those like gruff commanding officers, and he's got the gruff gravelly voice, so he's like already part of the way there.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's on screen enough to like really do a bad job.
No, his name is so prominent in the credits though. It's just like, it's like Alan Ritchson, Dennis Quaid is like, what? Shouldn't he be an and Dennis Quaid? I think he should,
Yeah, he's barely in this. Like, I thought maybe they'd encounter him somewhere in the middle of the movie, given his billing in this. And then it's like, no, he just is at the very end when he's like, oh yeah, I've been over here like commanding some people, and we took out the first round of these other things.
The first wave.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't expect anything to be Predator. Not even the Predator sequels. Because one, that screenplay is sort of magical, and that cast is sort of magical, and then it's directed by John McTiernan. So, but I just can't stop myself from thinking, am I being too hard on it? I mean,
no, I don't think so. I don't think being too hard on this movie. I think it had some decent ideas and could have been a lot better if it had been more kind of streamlined and thoughtful about what it was doing. I don't think it would have taken that much more work to make this from like a not very good movie to at least more watchable movie.
I think this could have gone from like the C- ish that it is to easily a B with a little like a tighter rewrite, and kind of, I mean, I don't mind the whole, I'm doing this because my brother got killed and I feel guilty about his death because I could have gotten him to the base or whatever. But it's just so, as you had said earlier, it's so heavy-handed.
Yeah.
That it's just like, I mean, the thing about this movie is there's no mystery to anything. There's nothing to discover. It's kind of like that problem. I've heard people talk about this with Netflix movies, is that the characters just sort of narrate what they're doing as they do it, so that if you're not really paying close attention, you still know what's going on.
Dave, it's really funny to me that you didn't watch the Oscars, because there was actually a really funny sketch in it that literally makes fun of this whole idea.
Oh.
Conan O'Brien did a sketch with Sterling K. Brown where they were making fun of this idea that, people are getting instructions. You've got to repeat yourself many times throughout the movie to like make it clear for people who are like watching on their, playing with their phones and not paying attention. And he was playing Rick from Casablanca, and Sterling K. Brown is playing Sam, and he's playing the piano, and it's fucking hilarious. He's like, World War II, and then Sterling K. Brown's like, oh, the Hitler War. Like, it's really funny. You should watch it, because it is literally this exact thing that you're talking about.
Yeah, well, it's just I didn't really, I don't watch a lot of Netflix movies, just because I don't, and this is like really the first time I noticed that thing, because I know we've talked about it before.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember whether we've talked about it on the show or not, but and I've had this conversation with other people too. It's like, do you ever feel like the movies are just like, it's like that trend of, you remember when Judd Apatow movies were first a big deal after like 40-Year-Old Virgin and all that, and there's always bits where he would let like his actors riff, and then some of it would end up in the movie, and it's like, you guys are just narrating what's going on on screen. I don't see what's funny about this, you know. There is one good ad lib, and it's not a Judd Apatow movie. In 50-50, when Seth Rogen says, looking at Joseph Gordon-Levitt's scar, "You look like Quato from Total Recall."
Yeah. That movie is a lot funnier than people give it credit for.
Absolutely. I love that.
It's really
movie.
Good.
I have always said, if you're going to make a movie about someone possibly dying from cancer, this is the movie to make. You still got your everyday bullshit going on while you're dealing with this,
Mm-hmm.
But we've gone around the bend from fucking War Machine. By the way, there was a movie just like 9 or 10 years ago called War Machine with Brad Pitt, wasn't there?
I believe there was.
Also a Netflix movie?
I think you might be right. Yeah, Brad Pitt. Actually, I think it was a movie we talked about on the show, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't remember that, but
yeah, General confronts opposition. Maybe I'm certain I watched this. Maybe even talked about it on the show. But yeah, it is also not good from what I remember.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just when you see, now streaming on Netflix, on a Netflix original film, the poster says, "We're going to liberate the shit out of you." Yeah, that's not funny. So, I mean, I know you're trying to do like satire, but it's still not funny. Oh, well. Oh, well.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many, this is so stupid. I mean, people used to say this about cable TV too, in the 80s. It's like, oh, all these channels and nothing to watch. And then I remember in college, the dean of the College of Communications at BU, I can't remember his last name. Brent was his first name. And he always had to tell us at every time he spoke that he was a rear admiral in the Air Force, and he had been in the armed forces for 29 years. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, I remember that, because you say that, you teach this class and you say it in the class twice a week. But anyway, he's like, yeah, we're going to get to a point soon where we have 500 channels, because it was just, cable. And now we have all these streaming services, and I can't find anything that I really want to see.
Yeah, I hear you. It's like a combination of like analysis paralysis, because there's just so much to wade through. Yeah. And then there's just like a lot of crap where it's like, I don't really want to watch a lot of this stuff. That's why, honestly, like lately, I watch a lot more TV than I do movies. It's like, I find myself getting invested in shows. Like we went through this phase recently where we're watching a lot of like Harlan Coben shows on Netflix, which are not very good, most of them, but they follow like a format that you're just like, okay, I'm going to settle into this. Like somebody's missing or murdered. There's going to be like, it's like there's going to be a cult. There's going to be some type of like accident that happened 30 years ago that's somehow going to connect back to this. There's like just certain things are going to like come up in the show.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I mean, I hesitate to say this on mic, but there's a new season of Virgin River on Netflix. Now, I am 4 seasons behind because I've only seen through season 3. Because season 3 was kind of shitty, but those first 2 seasons, I mean, if you're given to the whole like sort of tender romance of someone getting over the death of their spouse, and the other fucking guy, Martin Henderson is the other lead, who just like fucking kill me, Martin Henderson, Christ. But yeah, he sucks. But Alexandra Breckenridge is the other lead, and she's fantastic. So I guess my point is that to piggyback on what you were saying, there is so much to wade through. It's just like it's exhausting trying to find something. I sound like a fucking boomer. Well, except I'm not angry about it. If I were a boomer, I'd also be angry about it.
You'd be angry and you'd be like blaming somebody about it. But and the other thing that sucks too, to just close the loop on the rant, is like there'll be times you're like, I really want to watch this movie, and it's not fucking anywhere to watch. And you're just like, what the hell? I have every fucking streaming thing under the sun. It's not on one of these things. I still either it's not available or I have to go rent it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there have been times when I have been looking for something, couldn't find it, and I've bought the way too expensive DVD because it only has like a DVD that was released in 2004.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah. So I also want to be clear, though. This movie's not bad.
Yeah, it's not just, like horrible. It's not unwatchable.
It's just completely middle of the road. Like there's nothing special about it, you know?
Right. Yeah.
A couple nice character moments like the stuff, that I mentioned before. But no, I was going to say it's a couple nice character moments like I mentioned before. But then to your point and what Shauna had said, 2 different movies like competing with each other, and not the skill to tie them together.
Right.
Not in a good enough screenplay, and not a skilled director who can kind of weave that stuff together. I'm not saying Patrick Hughes isn't a good director. I'm just saying for this screenplay, this is, I think, beyond his depth, and he fucking co-wrote it. So,
right. Yeah. I mean, I can't speak to the Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard, but I remember watching the Hitman's Bodyguard and thinking, this is a fun movie. It's a fun action movie. Like I thought it was more enjoyable than this.
Yeah. I wonder why I thought it was the Kingsman. Is it in the same vein? It's like a super bloody action comedy.
Yeah, I remember a lot of shooting and a lot of killing in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it was the same type of stylized violence that you get in a movie like Kingsman or some such.
I don't think I've actually seen Kingsman all the way through, but I just remember kind of being horrified by it when I was watching it and being like, I love me some good shooting and killing and exploding body parts and things like this, but there's something so distasteful about it to me. I don't know what my problem is. Age. I'm just going to say it again.
It doesn't. It's not good when things feel mean-spirited. Getting back to War Machine, like you, I was really bothered by the fact that no one else really made it out of this alive, and I did feel like it was kind of mean-spirited that it killed everyone off in pretty gruesome ways. Like especially when that truck they're driving is getting ripped apart, and like the woman who's driving, who I really liked her character too. She gets shot in the head unceremoniously. And the other guy is like shooting out the side, and his arm gets ripped off, and he's like screaming while his like bloody stump is like spurting blood.
Yeah, I know. Just that it is kind of mean spirited.
Yeah, bummed me out.
Yeah. Well, on that note,
I was like, do I think I have anything else to say about this movie?
No.
I mean, also part of that truck chase, it was exciting that all the grenades were going off around them, and still they were somehow like driving through them. That was pretty intense.
Yeah, and it's... I'm trying to think of what the difference is when you kill off a character you like. Is it the death scene? Because those characters who had made it that far, they were all like good soldiers. They did their
Mhm.
jobs well, and then they all just die in the most unceremonious ways. Like Blake Richardson gets, a hole blasted in his chest. At least you
Yep.
see him die on camera. Like you said, the guy gets his arm severed. The driver gets, I guess, her head half blown off. I don't really remember. And then they all, like, there's the explosion, and their bodies are all burned too.
Right.
Because the only reason that Alan Ritchson knows that the one guy is who he is because he's got one arm. And it's like, this is just kind of grubby. I don't like the way they're doing this. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But what's the difference though? When do you have a character who like dies and you're like, oh, well, even though that character shouldn't have died, it's okay. Like, what's the difference?
I don't know. That's a good, thoughtful question. Yeah, maybe it's that they get at least you get like a split second to like process their death, or it feels like they die in service of something helpful to the plot or to the mission.
Yeah. Whereas these people are all just, alien cannon fodder.
Right. Exactly. Yep.
Sorry to bring you down, man.
That's okay. I mean, but you're right though. This movie it's not horrible. It's very middle of the road. It could have been a lot worse. It could have been a lot better. And sometimes it's almost more disappointing than something we watch. We're like, this is just dog shit from the jump. So we could just totally just like talk smack about it and just dig into all the ways that it's wrong.
I got to say though, I would rather watch this than Dooba Dooba.
Yeah, amen, brother. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's my bar for the absolute worst thing that I've seen in the last 5 years. I don't know.
Yeah, I put Dooba Dooba out of my head. Although I was watching something in Vimeo the other day, and it was like one of my, like when you bookmark screeners to watch later, and I saw that, and I was like, yeah, boy, I really hated that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't hate this. I'm just kind of indifferent about it.
Yeah. Sometimes it's just more frustrating when you're like, this has potential and it could have been better, but they just like botched it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess that's all I have to say about that, to quote Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Forrest.
War Machine, it's on Netflix. It sounds like we're both just kind of like, meh.
Yeah.
I think it's skippable. I don't even know that I would say your mileage may vary, but
yeah, you can skip this unless you're like a huge Alan Ritchson fan because you watched Reacher or one of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies where he's one of the turtles.
All right.
He was one of the turtles.
In which of the Ninja Turtles movies?
I think the
Ninja Turtle.
I think the two new ones.
Okay. He plays Raphael, like the voice of Raphael. I was thinking like back in the like days where they're wearing the suits. I was like, what? He's not that old.
No. I think they were in suits in the new movies. I think for the close-ups they were like CG, so their mouths could move. I think so.
Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows, of the 2016 one that they did. Okay.
Because he talked about something that like really pissed him off about like shooting those movies, and it had something to do, I feel like, with the suit and how they were treated while they were in the suits. It's like, I could be completely making that up, but I do know that he's got some beef about those movies.
Yeah, looks like they might have. They I guess they could have been motion capture, so that would make a kind of sense. Interesting. I haven't not thought about those movies in a while.
Yeah, it's because they're not very good.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. All right. Well, I think that wraps up for this week's episode. Want to say thank you to our editor, Otto Clamor. Otto, thank you for making it sound so great every week.
Thank you, Otto.
You can find us anywhere you get podcasts. You can also go to our website, which is spoilerpiece.com. We're on social media. Spoiler Piece Theater on Facebook, at Spoiler Piece, and other places like Instagram and whatnot. And if you want to get in touch with us, you can send us an email, spoilerpiece@gmail.com. If you like the show, please rate and review us by going to ratethispodcast.com/spoilerpiece. Leave us a rating or review, except if you're that asshole that recently left us a 1-star review.
Yeah, because he misheard something about our I don't even remember which movie it was now, but he actually misheard something Evan said and gave us a negative review for that. And it's like, if I ever meet you, I'm going to punch you in the dick.
But yeah, positive reviews would be nice.
Yeah.
Much appreciated. And if you really, really like the show, please consider joining our Patreon. As I mentioned at the top of the episode, we're talking about the 1986 buddy cop film, Running Scared, with Billy Crystal and Gregory Hines. We had a fun conversation about that. And for $5 a month, you get access to those weekly episodes, and then you get to vote in a monthly poll, and look out for that, patrons. And I think that's all I have to say. So my name is Evan Green. I am co-chair of the Boston Online Film Critics Association, co-author of Your 80s Movie Guide to Better Living, and co-host of the It's the Pictures podcast. And you can follow me on social media as Real Recon, and that's real as in film reel.
And I'm Dave Riedel. I'm a member of the Boston Online Film Critics Association. I'm DM Riedel on Instagram. Dave Sees Movies on Instagram. Dave Sees Movies most places except on Blue Sky, or Blueski, as some dude called it in a Senate hearing the other day.
Blueski.
Yeah, and he did it earnestly. It wasn't like he was trying to make a joke. I'm David Riedel on Blueski.
I've always been a bigger fan of John Blueski than Jim Blueski.
Me too.
We'll see you next week, listeners.
Bye.